What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of the Rich and Turbo Heavy Half Hour. You just get rich today, and You can find me on X at FuzzDoomRip and on all the other socials at Rich.Pilot, doing reviews from Wikipedia of Metal, and as a Doom Charts contributor. And I am very excited to have a band that's one of our favorites of the show, and also one that I didn't know if we'd get to talk to, or we didn't know if we'd have new stuff from. The Judge. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing great, doing great. Thank you so much for joining the show. I have three of you. If you guys can just introduce yourselves and say hello, that would be awesome.
I'm Kevin. I'm Tyler.
Great. So, for the longest time, I had a little grudge with you guys because you're one of the only records I didn't have out of my Ripple Music collection, which was your self-titled record, which I finally was able to track down because it's awesome and I love it. But I was very excited. You're now back, kind of active on socials. You're playing shows. What's going on with the Judge? What's new, and what can we expect if you can share what's going on?
Yeah, so we're in and out of the studio right now, trying to play out a little bit more. Right now we're in Milwaukee. We played Chicago last night. I don't know when this is going to air, but we're playing Falcon Bowl tonight, so it's going to be cool. We're working on our third album. Simultaneously, we're working on an EP, a split EP with another Ripple band called La Chinga. And we thought we would be a good match for that. And yeah, that's what we got going on right now.
Excellent. Friend of the show, La Chinga. They're gonna be on the show soon. That's an awesome matchup. Love that. That's like one of the Ripple kind of volume of their splits, right? One of those that you guys are doing.
Yeah,
and the new record's going to be on Ripple as well?
Yes.
Excellent. You guys are a perfect match for that label. Like, those two records that you put out in 2016 and 17, to me are like, if you want to talk about like what a Ripple band is, especially then, I would throw your record up there, and just, really, really dig it. Are we gonna, obviously, you have a certain sound with those two records and the EP that you put out. Are we kind of on the same path there when we look at the new stuff, or are you branching out at all, or what can we expect from the sound of the new ones?
But not in a bad way. Not like that. You know what I mean? It's going to be a little cleaner production quality because we're really spending big boy money this time. We're recording with our friend Jason at Sawhorse Studios, and it's a really good St. Louis studio. Looks like we're reconnecting. But yeah, I mean, music-wise, it's kind of along the same vein. I'd say if our first two albums were a little bit more Sabbathy, we're probably going for like a little bit more of an American rock and roll sound on this album. You'll hear a little bit of Grand Funk, but a lot of our normal influences coming through. And a couple more vocal features on my part, a couple drum solos, of course, guitar solos. Dylan's not here, but he would attest to his guitar work. Pretty cool.
Awesome. The Grand Funk call out is very intriguing. A band that I did not get into immediately, and then through some friends kind of got to understand what I was missing with some of those Grand Funk records. So that's a very cool call out. I've seen, a lot of reviews, they call out obviously Sabbath, they call out like Cream is another one that I see a lot from you guys, which is very cool. And I think in our genre of the music that we like, Cream doesn't get mentioned as much as they probably should, given what a lot of the bands sound like. Are they a big influence on you, or is that just somebody who is hearing that in your music?
Cream and Clapton in general, for sure. What would you say? I think for me, Cream's not necessarily the biggest influence. I'm trying to take a different approach to the drum work. I've been listening to a lot more progressive stuff in general, so more progressive metal, like Polyphia and Animal as leaders. So I've been trying to incorporate a little bit more challenging drum parts. I guess for myself, I don't necessarily know if that'd be challenging for any other drummer, but I've been trying to branch out with more interesting drum parts, and I think Dylan is probably heading down more of a. I think his playing on this album is going to be a little bit more southern rock, more American band style, um, and I think that probably reflects in the vocals and just the songwriting as well. So
You seem like you're probably nicer than Ginger Baker would have been as a drummer, just as a human
yeah,
being. So,
I,
you know, that
I'll just speak for myself, but yeah, I'll agree.
excellent. So one of our buddies, Chris McCowan, he saw you guys at Reggie's in Chicago. That was last night, right? Was
Yeah,
that last night you played in Chicago?
yeah, nice.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he had sent some pictures out, and so are you playing some new stuff on the road, or is it mostly some of the stuff from your older records, or a combination of both?
Yeah. Um, Most of the time when we write new stuff, we get it out on the stage as soon as possible. It's just kind of how we've always been, especially since we've taken so long to write this album. It's like this is our current state now, you know. Like the second album was so long ago that we still play it and we still stand behind it, but it's just like there's so many new ideas coming out, you know. I would say there's probably three songs. This isn't going to sound very good, but we probably have three songs on the third album that we've written for at least 7 years. Like it's been rehearsed and yeah, played for about 7 years, and just a lot of life stuff and family stuff that has been going on that has sort of kept us from playing out as often and getting new music out. But I think in, uh, we got inspired to start writing more and different material. So it sort of came together on the third album. So, Mhm. So
Excellent.
you'll probably recognize like a great variety of songs on the third album because it's just like we've done so much growing as people.
Yeah, I'm pumped. Are the songs that you're going to have with on the Lachinga split? Are you? Is there a different mindset to those songs, or is it kind of same kind of writing and same kind of sessions that you're doing? You just kind of pick those songs for the split, or is there a different kind of thought process or writing process for when you're writing for a split versus writing for your own record?
Well, it it's definitely going to be different, but one of the songs was a song that we were considering for the album, and we don't need it for the album anymore. So you're going to hear on the Latinga split, you're going to hear an album that or a song that was basically taken from the album. But one of them is kind of a path that we haven't really traveled yet. It's like, well, like if this all comes to fruition as we plan, one of the songs is going to be like totally major, totally upbeat, very southern rock, and very like happy. So we're not used to that, but um, didn't plan on it that way. It just kind of happened that way. So
That would go very well with probably what Lachinga will have on their side,
yeah,
given their discography, right?
yeah, that was probably in the back of my mind a little bit.
Do you know those guys, or did this just kind of happen, or was this a like Todd kind of Marvel team up situation that he got you guys together, or how did that all happen?
Yeah, it was a little bit of Todd and a little bit of Chris Reed from Lachinga. They they kind of expressed interest a long time ago and heard that we were getting, serious again. And not that we were ever not serious, but they heard that we were getting amped up again. And they were like, yeah, we should get back to this idea of doing a split. So, yeah, it had a little bit to do with Todd. And he basically reminded us after a couple of years that was still on the table. So those guys have been really cool to us.
Yeah, the resounding feedback of working with a guy like Todd and just Ripple in general has been no one ever has anything other than amazing things to say about being a a Ripple Music signee or band on the label. Um, Very cool. I can't wait to hear that. People are going to be very excited. We're breaking a little bit of news on this episode. That
Yeah,
makes me
a
happy.
little bit.
Um, so I appreciate that. What from a timing standpoint, you're in the studio now. You're recording most of the new record. Is that where we're at in the schedule standpoint?
Yeah. So, to be transparent, we're 6 songs into recording the album, and we are um, 2 songs. Well, we're gonna put 2 brand new songs on the EP, and that's like the plan right now. So coming up this next weekend, we're gonna go into the studio, and we're gonna record as much of the rest of the album and the split as possible. So that's the
Excellent.
time frame. As far as the
Very cool.
release goes, it's hard to say what the release is going to be. I don't think we can really solidify anything. Yeah, um, can't even speculate, but it'll be soon.
Hey, the fact that it's happening is going to get people very excited. Um, Ripple has a couple of bands like yourself who haven't done any new stuff in a while. Band Suplex, Todd picked up and they're putting out a new record on Ripple. So there's some really cool bands that I think haven't done new stuff in a while that people are going to be psyched for probably towards 2026. So very very pumped about that. Are you guys going to take? I know you're kind of touring. So where is your home base? I've seen a couple of things. Is St. Louis your home base still, or are you somewhere else?
Yeah, so Granite City pops up on a couple of our socials. Granite City is like a Illinois suburb of Greater St. Louis, you would say. It's pretty close to St. Louis. Um, um, our home base in general is St. Louis. I'm actually from the Missouri side, like an hour, 15 minutes away from these guys. But yeah,
So are you staying relatively in that area, or from a touring standpoint, just getting some shows in now, or are you looking to do a more wider touring when the new record comes out, or even before that?
oh yeah. It's as far as playing out goes, we want to get as far away from St. Louis as often as possible. It's not anything against St. Louis. It's just like
Sure.
it's about branching out as much as possible because people kind of know us around St. Louis. So when we come back, it's always good, but you get out to Midwest shows like this, like Milwaukee tonight. It's going to be just far enough away from home that it's like we're touching into a new audience, and but it's not so far away from home that we can't drive home tomorrow. So uh, as far away as we can get.
Yeah. Awesome. And how was the Chicago show? That they seem at Reggie's. I see a lot of pictures from Chris and stuff. From he goes all the time to see bands. How was Chicago on a
Uh,
Thursday night
we
or
were
Friday night? On a Friday night.
Yeah, we were received very well. Um, uh, we got a lot of really good feedback. I think the sound was amazing. Um, I think we recorded or we performed pretty well. There's a, a live feed available on YouTube right now. I think Reggie's actually posted the live feed on YouTube as well as Facebook.
Oh, cool.
So you can check out all 3 of the bands that played last night. It was Exosphere, it was us, it was Black Sunrise, and they were all super dope. So it'd be worth your
Oh,
time
nice.
checking it
Yeah,
out.
I dig Black Sunrise. Yeah, I dig Black Sunrise is I really dig what they've done so far. They have a few singles out and an EP, and I really dig what they're doing. Awesome. So, was there something that triggered you guys to kind of rev it back up again and start getting in the studio and not just do a new album, but do a new album and a new EP and just kind of dive back into it?
I definitely think there was any one specific thing that was like, hey, did you do this? Yeah, I think the stars just kind of aligned.
Meant to do it. It's been so long uh, between albums and just playing in general. Well, COVID didn't really help. I think we had quite a few things planned before COVID hit, or we had intended on doing a couple of things before COVID hit. Um, and then once that happened, it sort of nuked any getting together or any playing out. I was still in school time. So I was trying to manage work, school, band, and all the stuff. Tyler was still working full time. And then uh, I had 2 kids. Yeah, Kevin had 2 kids. So, yeah, so life in general just sort of hit us really hard after 2020. And I think now we're sort of at a point where we can start to do what we were doing back in our early 20s, mid 20s. Um, so I'm working a full time job. Tyler's working a full time job. Well, all the guys working full time jobs, and we all now have some amount of free time to record or write songs, get away for a weekend, or get away for a weekend. So I think trying to do a tour like we did in 2013, 2016 is going to be a little challenging with PTO and all that stuff, but we're going to try to make whatever we can make work and playing as often as possible. Probably coming up in 2026.
That's awesome. Yeah. Very cool. It's amazing. I mean, obviously, almost every band I speak to, a lot of the music that was coming out of like when I started doing the podcast last year was like the result of people's being locked up during COVID and kind of creating and writing and putting a lot of that stuff together, and then eventually now kind of getting it out there. Was that did you have that? And I've talked to a few bands that just kind of shut it down too, and they're like, I'm not going to do any of this anymore for now. Did you guys have that kind of creative burst during the lockdown, or was it like there's too much shit going on right now? Let's put a hold on it.
I think with some, it depends on like your personality. Like for us, a lot of our energy and motivation comes from playing out and getting the affirmation of playing in front of people. So to hear that there would be a damper on that it took the wind out of our sails, motivationally. And then like we were saying, it just kind of lined up with a bunch of other stuff that was going on in all of our lives. And it was a situation where we kind of let it kill the band. We didn't necessarily have to, but like if you're writing music when you're not feeling it, it's not gonna be as good, So we just kind of happened upon a time in our lives where we're feeling better about the world, about our creative juices.
No, love it. It's it was obviously a weird time for everybody, and I think different people dealt with it different ways. Where some had this like, just gonna lock myself in my own, my little studio and just record a bunch of stuff and write a bunch of stuff. And then people who are like you who get that kind of vibe from being in front of a crowd. It was people dealt with all this stuff a lot of different ways. But I'm glad that's over with, and I'm glad you guys are back together and doing your thing. This is very exciting. Any chance that I can convince Todd to do a repressing of the Judge self-titled record, because that needs to happen. There's a lot of people who want that to happen.
I was like,
Yeah, give him a call.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys could get rid of a couple hundred on the road doing some shows of the self-titled record.
Yeah.
It's been gone for a while, so I might have to nudge him a little bit on that.
Yeah,
one.
I mean, we sure wouldn't mind that. Evil Woman is
Yeah,
our
I mean,
number one.
it's excellent. I tell you that I discovered the interesting thing about kind of where I came into the stuff that I talked about on the show and the bands that I talked to. It was probably right around the pandemic where I started to understand what Bandcamp was and understand what, like independent labels like Ripple and things like that were. So I was a little bit late to the party. So I wound up having to get all the, pre-2019 Ripple things, hope it's still available, or go on, get my ass on Discogs and pay ridiculous amounts for it. So every now and then we, hey, Todd, why don't you, repress that second Mothership record? Or why don't you repress that first, Freedom Hawk record? Just, because I want it. It doesn't matter what anybody else wants, or that's going to cost you money. But, I need a copy of that. So let's make that happen. Cool. So on this, it sounds like you're on kind of a mini tour in Milwaukee. You were in Chicago last night. Any other shows that you have lined up for the immediate future?
Yeah, just September 20th in St. Louis and August 23rd in St. Louis. August 23rd is at Platypus. September 20th is at the Attic Music Bar. So playing around home a little bit while we get our music recorded and mixed and all that. And then yeah, we're looking to the future, trying to get back out. So
Excellent. Who are you playing with tonight in Milwaukee?
Dead Feathers, High Gallows, and Adorner. So High Gallows and Adorner
Nice.
are from the area, and Dead Feathers are friends of ours from Chicago. A couple of members are from Milwaukee, if I understand correctly. But yeah, it's going to be a jam. We're going to have fun. It's at a bowling alley called Falcon Bowl. So we're really stoked to see how that turns out.
Nice. Are people going to be bowling while the set is active? Would be one question that
I'm playing.
Yeah.
I hope the alleys are faced in a direction where they can see us off to the side. Not like from the pictures, it looks like there might be a wall between the bowling alley and the venue, but I don't know. We'll see. Seems cool.
That's a little disappointing. Yeah, no, that'd be awesome. Like it would be an excellent venue to have both bowling and a club there. I don't think I've ever talked to a band from St. Louis specifically. What bands are we missing? Are there bands in the area that we should know about other than the Judge that you would call out from your local area that we want more people to hear about?
There's only one, and I think they're on like a hiatus right now, and it's a band called Space Trucker. Well, there's a lot of bands, Space Trucker, in the St. Louis area, but from what I can tell, along the same line with Space Truckers, it feels like they're either on a hiatus or they stopped playing out. It's nothing against all the other bands in St. Louis, but I mean, this is like Dooner, Stoner Rock, that's a rock thing. So the scene of St. Louis feels to be like a pop punk, emo, or metal town. So for the sake of the conversation we're having, there used to be a lot of bands, or quite a few bands that we play out with. So Space Trucker, Apex Sound, I'm sure there's Salt White Charter are broken up, I think. Yeah. Yeah. So Space Trucker actually, the guitarist formed another band, but I can't think of the name of it. We are playing with two bands that I'm kind of excited for that are local to St. Louis. You have Sister, and you have Everfelt. Sister is like, they kind of remind me of Dead Feathers a little bit. They're kind of like a slower psychedelic female fronted rock band, and then Everfelt is more metal, kind of more power, but just like a really good little variety that we got going on that I think we can bridge pretty well. So getting a network built with bands like that would be cool. There's a couple other like really heavy doom bands in the area. Like we played with a band called White Ibis a couple times. They're pretty good. And there's another one called Scuzz, local to St. Louis, pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of a scene, but like Evan was saying, it's really a struggle because like everyone wants to see pop punk or post-hardcore,
Yeah, I know. I definitely from my post-hardcore days are aware of some of the bands from the area.
Oh yeah.
And we're big Simpsons fans, my buddy and I. And every time somebody says St. Louis, it brings me back to the episode where Homer's talking to somebody. And he's like, St. Louis, and he goes, East St. Louis, and the guy goes, is there any other? And inevitably, I don't know if you watch The Simpsons, but that is like our number one inside Simpsons joke. So every time you're saying St. Louis right now, in my head, my buddy is saying East St. Louis, and I'm saying, is there any other? Because I'm a Simpsons nerd to go along with my music nerdness. And I always have a portion of the show where I ask about local scene, and I go like this because I'm on Bandcamp, putting stuff in my wish list. So thank you guys for giving me some of the local stuff.
Yeah, those guys are good.
Excellent. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I actually have one of the Space Trucker albums. When I went and looked in my but they haven't really done anything in a while, so I have to go back and revisit and see what's going on.
Yeah, I'd like to find out what the name of the band that Mike formed. Yeah, Mike formed another band and I can't remember the name of it. And my phone's right there.
So you can't look it up.
Yeah, but it's exciting.
All right.
I like their music.
Yeah, cool. No, that's awesome. And you guys are kind of maybe you guys being kind of back and active again will kind of push some of the less emotional hardcore people and more of the the 70s kind of riff rocker guys to get out there and do a little bit more do a little bit more stuff in St. Louis. Awesome. So I want to thank you guys for joining from the hotel in Milwaukee. That's awesome. I'd love for you guys to come back and talk to us when maybe when the pre-order comes out, so we can do a little promotion on that, and I'll probably have a promo from Todd by then, and we can chat a little about the songs if that's cool with you guys.
Yeah. One merrier.
Excellent. So the Judge, everybody. So happy to have you guys back and active. Can't wait to hear the new stuff. And just good luck with your shows and keep in touch. And hopefully we'll talk more in a couple months when we start to have some announcements for release dates.
Appreciate it. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.